Well, here we are again. I'd like to read a little bit from Embodying Spirit, the inner work of the warrior. There's one practice that we as warriors of spirit seem to have a little difficulty with, and that's surrender. It seems to go against the grain of everything. You know, you're not supposed to surrender. But I have a little different take on that. It seems like surrendering is an essential part of being a warrior. Well, here's some of what I wrote on that matter in this book. Surrendering is to the universe, to the great mystery which actively breathes us. Surrendering means dropping our self-stories, no matter how entertaining and fascinating and intriguing, in favor of the larger story. We declare ourselves planetary and universal citizens. Surrender means to drop all self-induced trances. The word surrender points toward rend, R-E-N-D. When we surrender to the universe, we are torn apart and rendered as someone new. No longer a pleasure-seeking, pain-avoiding, alienated, protoplasmic blob, we become an integral embodying of the universe itself, of the great mystery, of the origin, unfolding, and evolving. On our South Dakota farmette, quite a while ago, which was 26 acres along the Vermilion River, we lived with an assortment of critters: hogs, sheep, chickens, ducks, horses. And when something died that was not edible, and we were active carnivores, we called the rendering man. He would whisk the carcass away and assist its transformation into further usefulness. To surrender means to allow oneself to be totally rendered. It is a painful process. The old carcass is whisked away. Its parts are put together into new, imaginative, and useful ways. A friend said over the phone as we spoke of surrender, "You mean I have to give up and accept defeat?" "Yes," I said, "give up and accept the feat." They do both at the same time. It's called embodying heaven and earth. This is surrender, totally here and totally open. This section is called total abandon, another word that creates horror in people. Abandon. A ronin, R-O-N-I-N, is a warrior with no earthly master, no organized clan, a warrior who roams outside all established camps. The warrior who is a ronin allows no part of the human consensus world to dominate. He or she follows the spirit of the life force. Becoming and being a ronin is an essential stage in the life of spirit. At some point, one abandons all established structure and support and stands alone, no lord to serve and no cause to fight. Being a ronin provides opportunity to become totally empty. Once empty, one can be filled. I recall as part of my ronin journey, a previous part had been stepping out from organized religion. When my marriage had dissolved, maybe you know the hell of a divorce. All illusions of the previous life are suddenly gone. Well, my stuff, my clothes, my canoe, my treasures of various sorts gathered across a lifetime, had been retrieved and stored in a friend's South Dakota barn. I had no job. My home was a temporary room at a dear friend's house. I received word that the barn had burned and my stuff had vaporized. After the first shock, I laughed and laughed and laughed. I stood naked in the universe, clinging to nothing. An inner work of the warrior is total abandon. This requires complete trust. Total abandon means being totally present, clinging to nothing, trusting the source while not clinging to the trusting, and embodying the immediate current surging of the wellspring, allowing the Tao to Tao, God to God, spirit to manifest, emptiness to form, and form to empty. The inner work of the warrior is to let go of the obscurations of I and me and mine, and of want and I don't care. And by allowing these obscurations to dissolve, the warrior opens to and becomes a direct manifestation of life force, of spirit. In this sense, he lays up his treasures in heaven and dies before he dies.